Welcome to Dan ARG YouTube. The person wey Palace put in charge of Odionwe of Abudu no wan gree hand over power back to the former Odionwe of Abudu. Some years ago, some people accused the former Odionwe of Abudu say he go sleep with one small young girl. The former Odionwe carry matter go court go clear him name. As he come back, he say he want a position back as the Odionwe of Abudu. The one wey Palace put in charge no wan gree hand over power. This na the problem wey dey for Abudu now. Make I leave you make you hear from Emmanuel Agbogun as he don put mouth for the matter. Try watch this video from beginning to the end make you for understand wetin dey happen for Abudu.
So you assume the Oba's mindset and go to the palace. This nonsense has to stop in Benin. This nonsense has to stop. If it doesn't stop, the danger ahead of us, will not be so easy. Will not be so easy. Only to the fact that people came out to lie against an old man. The old man has gone to court and back. Now you are starting another fresh lie. How many lies will you need to tell to remain in that office? How many lies will you need to tell to remain in that office?
Yes. A warm good morning to you, all my conscious Edo people. I remain no other person than yours, noble right activist, comrade Bogu Emmanuel. And if you're just joining me live, I want you to please share and invite, because I'll be stating a whole lot of issues here that is currently affecting the headquarters, the host community that happens to be the headquarters of Orionwo local government area. For those of you who do not know the headquarters of Orionwo local government area, it happens to be Abudu community. Abudu community. I want to believe that most of you who do not know that Abudu community is the headquarters of Orionwo local government should know it today. Just as you have Ogbe in Ring Road, just as you have Idogbo in Bobaoka, just as you have what's it called in Ego, towards where you have the secretariat. That is how where you have seats of local government. And one day you have Eho, where it happens for me to come from. I want to say this morning that it is very, very sad the way and manner in which elders, particularly the aged ones in our society, go all out to tell broad lies before our traditional institution. Growing up as a young man, I used to know that if there's one place you can find truth in Benin Kingdom, it happens to be the palace. But the way and manner in which people propagate lies, in fact, lies are being stage managed. It's not like a profession when people have disputes and they go before the palace. In fact, people, stage manage these lies to ensure that they get at their desired inquest. As I speak to you this morning, for those of you who do not know, I happen to carry out some business activities around the corridors of Abudu. And I discovered that a lot of young men are complaining about the injustice meted out on them as how they are not being protected and being accommodated in the current administration. And they have said a lot of complaints. And that the reason for this is because they do not have an Odionwe. Because since the institutionalization of Odionwe too in Abudu, they have never had it this bad. Now, It will be very wrong for anybody who wants to go to the Oba, our monarch, or by the Great, and wants to go to the BTC to lay a complaint, to go there with lies. It is very, very inappropriate. And this is becoming a growing trend. If you are watching me and you are a Benin person and you love Edo, you love Benin, I want you to share this broadcast. Because these things happening in Edo South is very, very wrong. For most of you who do not know, when I was attacked, the person who orchestrated the attack came out to say that it is because of the problems I have in many communities. That is why they attacked me, and he left where they attacked me from, and I laughed. See, if you don't tell yourself the truth and you begin to tell lies to make a gain, and kill the tradition of an institution, it is very bad. And that is what is bedeviling in fact a broad number of the communities in Edo South. Without wasting much of your time, I know some of you might not recall again, sometime in 2001, when the civil society led protests against the Odion way of Abudu. I was not in that protest, but I knew at Alakawa's parliament, where I happened to be the PRO at some time, did lead that protest, owing to the fact that they were told that a 13-year-old girl was defiled, and nobody will hear that and will not pick an offense over it. But at the end of the day, while we insisted that the matter must go to court because it is lawful and constitutional that dispute of such manner must go to court, the civil society demanded that matter be heard in court. And at the end of the day, the court, in its wisdom, having heard all parties in the matter, realized that the Odion way never defied the young girl. In fact, it was with the knowledge of the mother and the girl that they started, romancing and dining with Odion way. But in our society, when peer group begin to say, young girl like you, see old man where they go follow, it takes a woman with wisdom and courage to outgrow that particular scenario. That was what played out. And having gone to court for over a period of 4 years, and the court has given its judgment in a matter where an old man of 91 years who was born in 1933 was alleged of rape, defilement, promoting carnal knowledge and all that. At the end of the day, he was never sentenced. He was never sentenced. Rather, he was told to pay a fine of restitution and go home. But what pains me more is that somebody who the Oba has told, who the Oba has given an authority of office to hold the office in trust for this said person who was alleged to come back. The person has gone through the vigorous process of our judicial system to ensure that he exonerates himself at an old age. At an old age. Then the person who the Oba had told, who our mother had told, to go, please, you can't be calling me when I'm on the broadcast. The person who the Oba had told to go and hold the affairs of the community on behalf of the Odionwe and our monarch until he comes back will not be the one instigating hate, deceit, lies against the community and against an old man who happens to be an Odionwe before the allegations put against him was reported to the authority, particularly the Nigerian police force. It's so painful. When I watched this news on ITV News a month ago, I discovered to say, no, I will make my findings. Because I knew at some point, when that matter was being brought before the police, the woman confirmed the fact that Odionwe was actually, having an affair with her daughter with her consent. And the police investigation discovered same. But because people felt that the Odionwe had some level of influence and money and all that, so the police were not willing to charge the matter to court, then the civil society stepped in. Now that the matter has gone to court and Odionwe is back, it will be very, very just of anybody to misinterpret the position of the court in this matter. And while you are misinterpreting the position of the court, you are not misinterpreting it to the benefit of your people. You are not misinterpreting it to the well-being of your community or to the advancement of the community. You are interpreting it to the selfishness of your own interests because you want to sell over lands. You want to administrate over the common patrimony of your collective people. For those of you who are just joining us who are not aware of what the issues are, let me play this video for you that was reported on ITV that has to do with what transpired in Abudu community. It is so bad. In fact, for me as a Benin man, I feel so ashamed that old men, and these things have been orchestrated by old men who ought to be leaders in our community. If somebody with the Oba of Benin has sent on an errand to hold the community in trust, for the Oba and the Odionwe who has an issue, is coming out to lie against the Odionwe, I think this calls for a serious review. It calls for a serious review because this same similar issue has played out in very many communities that led to the death of several people, which I'll also be sharing with you in the course of this video. I wouldn't want to spend much time. To state the obvious here because it is indeed very, very painful. When I say painful, it is indeed very, 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 very painful. Particularly when a man of 91 years who was alleged of a crime had gone to court for over 5 years of his life and is out of court, and people gather to say that the statement of the court is contrary to what it is. How can an Edai, who the Oba, our monarch, sent to hold the community in trust, gather indigenes of the community all the way from Abudu, travel from Abudu to Benin, which is over 27 kilometers, to the palace to come and tell lies? And people will receive it. In fact, functionaries of the palace, some of them are even aware. They will receive it. They will propel it. They will package it to the monarch and make the monarch to believe that what they have said is the truth. But thank God that in every generation there is always a channel for voices of people to be heard. It is very, very sad that elders will be doing this in the 21st century, forgetting about the fact that the records are there in the court for anybody to verify. The journalists are there to ensure that what is being said is there. Social media is also here to also state the obvious where necessary. And at the end of the day, some group of persons will come out to say, oh, what we are saying or what we are saying in social media is that we are enemies of the palace. We are enemies of the Oba. We want to fight the Benin Kingdom. A lot of people have said a whole lot of trash against my person, owing to the fact that I have come out times without number to preach truth, to state the obvious on issues that are not supposed to be seen as an issue before our way of life in Benin here. It is very, very obvious that the oldest person in the community happens to be the head of the community. And the enduring councils, Osipogiva and the rest, are also people who are in line with the activities of host communities where traditional administration is the order of the day. It's so painful. It's so painful. A lot of people might not really understand, But let me quickly play this video for us because I feel very, very bad. I feel very, very bad, and I feel very, 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 very disheartening to see that our elders are the ones now propagating this falsehood against indigenous people in Abudu community. So without wasting much of your time, let me quickly bring out this video. Let me quickly bring out the video. Yes, we are here. I want you all to please listen. I want you all to please listen. I want you all to please listen very, very carefully. Before I even read, the video is on YouTube. I will still post the link now on my comment section so that those of you who are actually watching can also have a review of what people will wake up, travel 20 kilometers, plan it from day 1, day 2, and come to the actual date where they want to go and orchestrate it. And these actions of theirs is to further allow them to remain in office when the rightful owner of that office that they are occupying is alive. Is alive, and he can actually speak for himself and actually administrate that office.
Members of Akwakwai community at the palace of the Oba of Benin, the Oyoba of Benin, Chief Isaac Oyoba, and Ogwar of Benin, Chief Uyi Okumbo.
Yes, we have the news here now.
Elders, women, and youths of Abudu community at the palace of the Oba of Benin, where all traditional issues and controversies are sorted out and resolved.
Listen, before I show this screen or this video on my screen, I want to read this caption. Odionwe Tussle, Oba of Benin mandates Babili Igato to take charge pending final decision. Now, what has Babili done? I want you all to watch this 1 minute video where I'll be analyzing it now. Let's go.
Elders, women, and youths of Abudu community at the palace of the Oba of Benin, where all traditional issues and controversies are sorted out and resolved.
Alright, let's go.
Elders, women, and youths of Abudu community at the palace of the Oba of Benin, where all traditional issues and controversies are sorted out and resolved. The leader of the delegation, Babili Eigiato, said because they are peace-loving people and believers in the tradition, they decided to cry to the Vad Oba of Benin for help.
You heard what the journalist who covered this program said, this protest of theirs. He said because they are peace-loving people and they have so much regard for the tradition, the Benin traditional system, the Benin traditional norms and values. That is why they are in the palace. So let us go ahead.
Responding, the two representatives of the Oba.
Before we take the response, you heard what the Edai Chief Billy had to say. He said that the Odionwe had just completed his J terms, and not only that, he also said that the Odionwe has also committed some sacrilege. And not only that, he also alleged the Odionwe, who at a time when the activities of the Enoge of Owa, Akenzua, the Enoge of Owa, was having an issue with the palace and the Obaseki-led government over the delineation of monetary allocations to the Benin Traditional Council. They were part of those Enoges that, actually contested with the palace and did some sacrilegious affairs that made them to be suspended by the palace. Not only that, they also alleged the Enoge the Odion way of working with the Enoge, whereas the Odion way was not in the community. The Odion way did not have any activities within the period when this trial was going on. He was out of the community. He was not even within the periphery of Abudu or Ogumusun, Oza, Iru, in that environment that, happens to be the neighboring and towns within Abudu. This man, who is a 91-year-old man, was not there. But guess what? Somebody who the Oba sent on an errand to make sure that the community is kept at its usual pace. What have they gone to do? They have gone to tell lies in the palace. First of all, the first lie they said the man is an ex-convict, that he has been convicted of the crime and he has finished serving his jail term. 2, again, they also said that the man committed sacrilege. 3, again, they also said he is working with people who they see as enemies of the palace, who they see as people who are desecrating and disrespecting the Oba. And when they must have finished telling all these lies, this was the response that the chiefs in the palace, the functionaries of the palace, gave to them.
Of Benin, Chief Isaac Ogewense and Chief Uyi Okungbowa said nobody has the right to contravene the directives of His Royal Majesty Eware II, Oba of Benin, as per Billy Heigato is holding forth pending the final deliberation and decision. They therefore asked him to go back home and take charge of Abudu community.
You can see them after what their interest for going to the palace to tell lies was. The moment they said nobody has the power to challenge the Oba has said what he needs to say, and they must go back to do the needful. They started jubilating right inside the palace. The question now to ask is this: was the Odion way at any time convicted? Did the Odion way even really commit the allegations against him? And number 2, how did the Odion way connive with the Enoge of Owa, Prince Akenzua? How did the Enoge connive? How did the Odion way connive with the Enoge? I think this Pabili, I would have to interview him, because it is also good we hear from his own side. Because you cannot say that a matter. See, the lawyer who stood for this man in court is not a hidden lawyer. He's also a native of the land. And thus far, when the matter had gone, I had also spoken with him. I have also gone to court to verify that this man was never sentenced. Rather, he entered into the court entered him to pay a fine of restitution over the litigation that took place. And not only that, they lied against the old man, a man of 91 years, who never committed what he was alleged of. Now, the question to ask is this: these people who take lies to the palace, and at the end of the day, the lies are very obvious. The lies that they go to the palace to tell to remain in office are very obvious. And when these lies are in the public space, one would expect that the functionaries of the palace must ensure that the palace and our monarch is properly informed so that the right decisions will be taken. But no, they don't do that. They want to further encourage them to live on that path of lies. That is why you see that today, 99% of the communities in Edo South are under crisis, particularly where there is development. Because people will package lies. Functionaries of the palace are aware that they are coming to tell lies. They will stage manage it. There is no way that people will, the palace or the functionaries or the chiefs who receive these people will not tell me that they will not verify if this man was actually sentenced or if this man was actually convicted of the crime that they alleged him of. And not only that, they will not also say that
they will not be aware of the activities of how they say that the Odionwe, who is a 91-year-old man, actually committed a sacrilegious affair with the Prince Akenzuwa, the Enoge of Owa, who happens to be the Enoge in charge of that jurisdiction of Abudu. There is no way that they will say that this old man of 91 years carried out an activity that is sacrilegious with him. So for them to further portray their matter, the only way they can go is to tell lies to the palace. I want to believe that this growing trend should not be taken for granted. This is why there are so many crises in many communities in Edo South. People will sit down, particularly elderly men, people who are in their 60s, who are in their 70s, who are in their 80s, they will come to the palace to tell lies. And even when, okay, just hold on. I will cite the matter of Obage Nevusa, that I was practically, because issues that I come out to talk are matters that I have verified. Take me anywhere, I will say it line by line the way I discovered it and investigated it. That's why in whatever thing you try to say, I will tell you on this matter that I have listened to, I am very much aware of what is going on in that part of Benin City. I don't just come out to talk because I want to talk or because talk is cheap. I come out because I want the right thing to be done. A lot of people have called us names because we decided to speak truth and to stand by what we believe in. They have called us all forms of printable names. Oh, Emmanuel is this. Oh, Emmanuel is that. Oh, Emmanuel is the enemy of the palace. He's not a Benin boy. Oh, this one has happened. Oh, the other one has happened. Oh, what they are saying is not the truth. Oh, a lot of lies. And these lies are coming from old people, elderly ones, people who are supposed to direct the younger generation on the way forward, on the path of truth, honesty. They will sit down and orchestrate lies to the reverend monarch across the globe. They will come to say all sorts of lies. It's so painful and disheartening. It's so painful and disheartening. A similar thing like this that happened in Obage Nevusa have led to the death of over 7 persons. Now that area is like a war zone. If faction is not going, those factions are going. Listen to what happened in Obage Nevusa, despite the fact that this young man came out to say, I was used to tell lies against the Okaigele to the palace. Till date, the palace has still not visited that matter. Let me play the video for you, just a 2-minute video. The palace has still not visited that matter. And at the end of the day, people will say that, listen,
a movie viewed as total betrayal.
Listen.
The controversy surrounding the appointment of a new Okaigele in Obage Nevusa community has lingered for some time following the removal of Festus Edegbe. Usas Aigbedu, who said although he was not forced to write a petition against Festus Edegbe, however agreed that he was cajoled to do so because the community assured him that if he maintains his stand as the author of the petition, the coast will be clear for him to take over as the new Okaigele. Mr. Aigbedu said to his utmost surprise, when the coast became clear, someone else instead was chosen, a move he viewed as total betrayal. He said in a bid to portray a clean conscience, he decided to write another letter to the palace explaining what transpired, including the false allegations he levied against Festus Edegbe.
They won't come from palace, go back to community, no say Uji, and the elders don't plan and say, now he will be the next Okaigele. So the elders now come bring the heart forcefully, carry Ojongwe, go up with you. Then I thought Ojongwe, even that Ojongwe asking of Festus Edegbe, which is the Okaigele, they say, he never promote that one, because no one is talking about Okaigele. Say, no, may you go ahead.
He used the opportunity to appeal to Festus Edegbe to forgive him over false allegations and advise members of the public to be aware of what actually transpired, unlike what has been portrayed in the public domain.
26th of January, now go write this petition. So when they come notice I don't write petition, I don't speak the truth out of what happened. Now they must go carry TV. They tell to the public, say, waiting I go write for palace recently, say, nah, fake. They don't get hands for inside. So now okay, no problem. Me go sit up to the public about the truth of the whole matter.
Recently, the Ojonwere elders of Upper Guinea-Wusa community, including father of Usas Agbedu, dissociated themselves from the allegations orchestrated by Agbedu through a petition against Festus.
Oye Igbo is the authentic Okagile, which the Odowe installed.
Fosa Wangwe, ITV News.
So, I don't know if you are able to get anything out of this statement that this young man just made. He was the one who wrote the petition. He said he was cajoled and that it was a plan between himself and a faction of the elders that if he maintains his stance that and they remove the former Okaigele who is Festus, that they are going to make him the Okaigele. But unknowingly to him, after they must have finished removing Festus with the said lies and propaganda they took to the palace, he had come out to confess that what they have said is a lie. And that to the extent, even his own father, because the father collects proceeds of what the Okaigele will be settling him with, said what the public should disassociate what Osas is saying. That Osas is saying that to his own benefit. The question to ask, the lies they went to the palace to say, have our tradition now turned blind eyes against people that come to tell lies in the palace? Have our tradition now turned blind eyes? In this same case of Abudu, people have also raised up the attention. And it's not that the Ojonwe is quiet to say, oh, I'm just sitting down to wait for the palace to come and install me. The Ojonwe has written letter 1, letter 2, since May. Since May. They started writing since March. No, they started writing since April, May, and they have also sent reminder again on the same May, ending on the date of May 28th. Those letters are all on my platform. If you following what we have been saying, or if you watch the video I posted previously before now. In all of this thing, if it was to be a community where there is obvious development, you would have seen the youths, particularly the Okaigele, come out to say, I don't do anything, nobody will suspend me. If you remove me as Okaigele, we will fight. The next thing, the Okaigele will go and mobilize his own boys. The Edayi will go and mobilize his own boys. The Edayi will also go and mobilize his own boys. Then they will start fighting, making the community restive. This faction will shoot gun today. Next tomorrow, the other faction will shoot. Next tomorrow, this other faction will come out to say we are not the ones who are shooting. It is this other faction that is shooting. We are not the ones that are doing this. It is this other faction that is doing that. That is why we have so many community crises in Benin today. If you visit 90% of the communities, in fact, it's so sad. There are some things I don't even want to say on the social media. I'm just because when I see some of this injustice, it pinches me to my bone. It pinches me to my bone. Now, this Ojonwe who is out and some of the indigenous, you heard when the indigenous secretary was talking the other day, he said that they have been writing that what the Edayi is doing is just to sell land. They are not even after the well-being of the community. The security of Abudu is porous. Development that was attracted by government and suburb to the community is obviously being vandalized because those persons who are supposed to man the community, who have the community at heart, particularly the former Okaigele that you heard from Kingsley, who came out to say that the issue at hand is, we are not dragging Ojonwe. The issue at hand is that it is the lies they are saying about the Ojonwe that is not helpful. Because you want to remain in office as an Edayi, you are not saying no, that the Ojonwe is now an Onyoba because he is associating with Prince Akenzua. The question to ask, at what point in time did the Ojonwe and Prince Akenzua associate themselves that it relates to Abudu? At what point in time? And while you are doing this, you are telling lies. You in collaborating your lie, you also said the Ojonwe is an ex-convict. Let us be serious for once. Let us not continue to rubbish, because a lot of people see these things, and when they see these things, the way the matter comes into their hands is as if
the palace is promoting illegality or promoting injustice. Promoting injustice. And also, people from the palace, particularly some palace chiefs, will not also say that they are not aware of all of these things. But they want to keep mute. Or they want to take side. So for me, I want to use this medium to beg the chiefs and the palace, particularly our monarch, Obaewa II. These things need to be corrected with utmost seriousness. It is eating deep into the fabrics of our society. Very, very deep. 70% of the young men in most communities are thinking of one lie or one crime to allege Odionwe or Kagele of, so that they will take over the community. All in a bid to sell land. And when things are done like this, that's why you see today 80% of our communities are outrightly sown to foreigners. Unlike what you see our brothers in the West doing, some of them, they turn it into an estate. They create employment for themselves by way of security, water supply, and what have you. Maintenance of the estate, maintenance of the road. You see the road perfectly looking. People live there and pay estate charges that creates employment and job opportunities for the host community people. But in our own case here, it is not the same. It is not the same. The other day I was talking, I said, in Benin City, apart from the estates that were built by Lucky Benedion and maybe let me say Obaseki who built a Morton estate, mention one other estate you have in Benin. None. So how do we now talk about growing infrastructure? 70% of those host communities where development is currently being witnessed is surrounded by serious threats to erosion. Lack of planning. Now the same administrative affairs that is to take place, it is also being largely abused. You say you are holding office for a man. Now the man is back. Leave the office is a problem. Ordinarily, an office as Odionwe that has to deal with age, the moment you realize that the Odionwe is back, his case is finished, the Edayi is supposed to invite the Odionwe and ask the Odionwe, how have you gone? How have you gone? You have to go to the palace to tell them, and we'll all go together, or we'll do it this way or we'll do it that way. No, but because they are proceeds of what they are doing, they will never want to go about it the right way. It is not that they are not aware. They are very much aware. But the way and manner in which they reduce the respect of the Benin Traditional Council and the monarch, it is becoming very, very bad. And 80% of these things are orchestrated by elderly people. This my generation, you say a lot of young people don't like partaking in what is traditional, I understand. Somebody who is almost 70 years will not say that he is not aware of the principles, ethics, and norms of the Benin traditional system. As it has to do with a Dion and Odionwe issue. I have seen in some communities, Odionwe will die because Okagele know that once we appoint new Odionwe, he might be likely removed by the incoming Okagele. They will frustrate the burial process of the Odionwe. In fact, the Odionwe, in most cases, if his children are not well to do, the Odionwe will remain in the mortuary for as long as 8 years, 9 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Whereas that is not the case. They would even want the Ogwedion to be open so that people will know and begin to appease the ancestors. No. They will continue to sell land. When they feel that they are embezzled enough, then they will now start looking for a way to make amends. In that quest of doing that, 70% to 50% of the proceeds of what they are doing, they've spent it with police, they've spent it with chiefs, they've spent it bribing and doing all sorts of illegality. People who do those things, I see them as lazy mind. Because you want to have the largest portion to the detriment of every other person in your community. It is so sad that we have found ourselves this way.
So sad. And this is a trend that is going on in virtually all the communities. In most cases, I see people that have forged Palace document to say Palace made a statement. I've seen very many. Now, this man, this Pabili, who is the Edai, tell me, of what benefit will he go and lie that the Ojonwe is an ex-convict? Just to sugarcoat your lie. Just to sugarcoat your lie. And tomorrow, you will say, oh, that the ancestors did not do you well despite all your good for the community. What good are you doing when you are trying to destroy somebody's image? When you are trying to destroy somebody's image. So my conscious Edo people, please, I want to appeal to you. Particularly our social media bloggers. Let our palace be aware of all of these things that are going on. We are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. We are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. When people in very many communities are being oppressed by way of generating false information, by way of misinforming the palace to get favorable decisions, it goes a long way to promote hate in our society. And that is why we have serious community crisis rocking very many communities. And that is why you see cultism is in a high in Edo South. Very recently, you saw what happened on the news, where a young boy's house, a young boy within the age of 30 to 35, was invaded in the name of community crisis and cultism. You saw the number of shrine, casket, and all that was seen in the boy's house. That goes a long way to tell you the kind of life our people are living that should be seriously checked. Seriously checked. It is never ideal. This is the highest level of injustice from the pit of hell. Growing up as a young man, I know that if you want to find truth, just go to the palace. If you want to find truth, go to the palace. In 2012, when we were invited by Blessed or by Radio of Blessed Memory, I know what the Oba said to us. That if whatever thing you want to do in Benin, in as much as you are saying the truth, no harm will befall you. With the number of crimes that I know of that have been committed in very many communities, some under investigation, some yet to be investigated. In fact, it has become so bad that even when you report to the police, they declare people wanted. Those people who know how to go around it to make sure that they are not being arrested or brought to come and answer for the cases that they have committed. It is that so bad. Now, in the case of Abudu has been a community known for excellence. When you talk about Abudu, Owa, Igomoso, Iru, Ugbeze, Oza, I can go on and on. If you go that part of Benin, you will understand why they say Benin is a rich cultural heritage. In my community, they don't born you where me you go tell John where you lie. They don't born you where me you go tell John where you lie. We have 4 quarters. We have 4 John way in those quarters. We have a superior John way among the 4 of them. And there's nobody that can come out boastfully to tell the John way lie. But today, people now see John way as a tool to manipulate. People no longer have respect for the office of the John way anymore because they see it as something that can be easily manipulated. Because in the authority that is supposed to preside over illegalities, they now have a way of perverting, obstructing, and reversing justice. It is so bad. So the question to ask now, why is Pa Billy telling lies about Pa Sunday Ezeko, the Ojonwe of Abudu? Why? Why are they telling lies against the Ojonwe of Abudu? My conscious Edo people across the globe, particularly those persons who are closer to the Benin Traditional Stool, our monarch, please reach out to our monarch. These things that are happening should not be taken for kid gloves.
People now wake up, look for money. In fact, they go and borrow loan, look for money to orchestrate lies against their fellow brothers because they want to sell land. By the time they finish selling all this land, where will our children inherit? Where will our children farm? Where will our children live a better life? The Odion way that they are fighting. They say the man refused to sell land in the 4 years he administrated the community. That is why majority of the people did not like him. I was even told why the man was even in power. He had over 7 million naira in the community treasury that was used to administrate one level of issue or the other amongst the host communities, amongst the members of the communities. But today, both the money in the community purse, everything has been embezzled. Continuously support dating and nonsense behaviors that we see every day. For me, I remain no other person than your snowboard activist. I will continue flogging this Abudu matter till it gets to the highest level. I will not stop at talking here. I will continue flogging it till it gets to the highest level. Get it clear. I will not joke with this matter because seeing that old man, do you know what it takes for a man to be in his 80s, going to answer a false allegation in court, go through the process, come out exonerated, then you are coming to the public space to say that the old man is an ex-convict, someone that is in his 90s. Come on. What is our society turning into? Come on. What is our society actually turning into? And peradventure you decide to even inform the palace, they joke with issues like this. They will not even inform the monarch on time. They would want to play around with it to their own selfish benefits. That is why you see some of us criticizing office holders in the palace. Because we know they don't tell the monarch the truth. They don't tell the monarch the truth. So it is to this end. We want to conscientize members of the palace, functionaries of the palace, that they should be aware of what Mr. Billy is doing. They should be aware. They should not allow Billy disrespect his elders. In fact, people that are more senior to him, including his senior brother, he is now presiding over them. Agreed, the Oba gave him the authority to hold the community in view of the Odion way. Now the Odion way is back. Why are you propagating hate? Why are you propagating falsehood? Why are you calling the Odion way an Onyoba? Because at no point in time has he for once done anything with the Prince Akenzwa, the Enogi of Owa. So why are you now classifying? Because you know when the palace hears that, when the Oba hears that, the Oba will quickly say what will favor you. So you assume the Oba's mindset and go to the palace. This nonsense has to stop in Benin. This nonsense has to stop. If it doesn't stop, the danger ahead of us, will not be so easy. Will not be so easy. Only to the fact that people came out to lie against an old man. The old man has gone to court and back. Now you are starting another fresh lie. How many lies will you need to tell to remain in that office? How many lies will you need to tell to remain in that office? Once again, I remain no other person than your snowball activist. Please do me that favor of joining me live at about 7 p.m. Nigerian time, where we'll also be discussing this Abudu issue and the Benin Traditional Council. Once again, I remain no other person than your snowball activist, Comrade Abudu Emmanuel. Before I leave, I want to state it here very, very clear. I am giving consent to all bloggers, within our Edo media space and even outside our Edo media space to use this my content so that it can quickly get, in fact, directly to our monarch, because I know that our monarch
He is an authentic monarch who also observes what happens on the social media space. He's a digitalized monarch. Oba Atokpe is so let us ensure that we allow this information get close to him. Today, people who want to remove Okaigele, they go and as far as going to hire guns, not just den guns, so they go as far as hiring assault rifles to kill themselves because of sales of land. These were the lands that our forefathers lived. If they had sold it, which one would we be selling? If they had sold all of it. Today, in most communities, you don't even have where to put public facilities in the communities when government want to bring development to them. You don't have a space where such facilities are being constructed for the well-being of the community. It is that bad. It is that bad. So my conscious Edo people, let us do everything humanly possible to ensure that we all join hands together to correct these abnormalities. Today it is Abudu. Yesterday it was Obage. The other day it was Igbo Shodin. That is how these things have become a threat to our peaceful coexistence as a people. People will go all night to misinterpret the palace. Some even go as far as forging documents of the palace. So when these things are not properly handled when they come up, that is why you see a recurring decimal of it. And for some of us, we will not keep our mouth shut, because it is once said, and I concur to it, that the hottest place in hell is reserved for those persons who during moral crisis choose to remain neutral. Thank you and bye for now.
Now we don't hear from Emmanuel Agbogun. Let us know what you think for comment section. If you never subscribe to Dan ARG YouTube, try make you subscribe so that make you for the hear all the things where they happen for Nigeria. Make I leave you with this video, make you help us share them. Thank you for watching Dan ARG YouTube.